Support us with a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the buzzer. As the number of believers increased and the cause of the Prophet was strengthened by the conversions of many powerful citizens, the Prophet's preaching alarmed the Quraysh. Their power and prestige were at stake. They were the custodians of the idols, which the Prophet had threatened to destroy. They were the ministers of the worship, which he denounced. In fact, their existence and living wholly depended upon the maintenance of the old institutions. The Prophet taught that in the sight of his Lord all human were equal, the only distinction recognized among them being the weight of their piety. Allah, the Exalted, said, "O mankind, we created you from a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes that you may know one another. Surely the noblest of you in God's sight is he who is most righteous. Indeed, God is all-knowing, all-aware." The Quraysh would have none of this leveling of distinctions, as it reflected upon their long-inherited privileges. Accordingly, they organized a system of persecution in order to suppress the movement before it became firmly established. They decided that each family should take upon itself the task of stamping out the new faith on the spot. Each household tortured its own members or adherents or slaves who were supposed to have connected themselves with the new religion. With the exception of the Prophet, who was protected by Abu Talib and his kinsmen, and Abu Bakr and a few others who were either distinguished by their rank or possessed some influence among the Quraysh, all other converts were subjected to different sorts of torture. Some of them were thrown into prison, starved, and then flogged. The hill of Ramada and the place called Bata thus became scenes of cruel torture. Quraysh fear spread of Islam. Try in vain to blackmail Prophet. One day the Quraysh tried to induce the Prophet to discontinue his teachings of the new religion, which had sown discord among their people. Utbah ibn Rabi'ah was delegated to see the Prophet and speak to him. Utbah said, "O son of my brother, you are distinguished by your qualities, yet you have sown discord among our people and cast dissension in our families. You denounced our gods and goddesses, and you charge our ancestors with impiety. Now we are come to make a proposition to you, and I ask you to think well before you reject it." "I am listening to you, O father of Walid," said the Prophet. "O son of my brother, if by this affair you intend to acquire riches, honors, and dignity, we are willing to collect for you a fortune larger than is possessed by any one of us. We shall make you our chief, and will do nothing without you. If you desire dominion, we shall make you our king, and if the demon which possesses you cannot be subdued, we will bring you doctors and give them riches until they cure you." When Utbah had finished his discourse, the Prophet said, "Now listen to me, O father of Walid." "I listen," he replied. The Prophet recited to him the first 13 verses of Surah Fusilat, which may be interpreted as follows: "In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, Hamim." These letters are one of the miracles of the Quran, and none but Allah alone knows their meanings. A revelation from Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. A book whereof the verses are explained in detail, a Quran in Arabic for people who know, giving glad tidings of paradise to the one who believes in the oneness of Allah, Islamic monotheism, and fears Allah much, abstains from all kinds of sins and evil deeds, and loves Allah much, performing all kinds of good deeds which He has ordained, and warning of punishment in the hellfire to be the one who disbelieves in the oneness of Allah. But most of them turn away, so they listen not. And they say, "Our hearts are under coverings, screened from that to which you invite us. And in our ears is deafness, and between us and you is a screen. So work you on your way. Verily, we are working on our way. Say, O Muhammad, I am only a human being like you. It is inspired in me that your law, God, is one law, God Allah. Therefore take the straight path to Him, with true faith Islamic monotheism, and obedience to Him, and seek forgiveness of Him. And woe to al-mushrikeen, polytheists, pagans, idolaters, and disbelievers in the oneness of Allah, etc., those who worship others along with or set up rivals or partners to Allah, etc., those who give not the zakat, and they are disbelievers in the hereafter. Truly those who believe in the oneness of Allah and in His Messenger Muhammad Islamic monotheism, and do righteous good deeds for them, will be an endless reward that will never stop. Paradise. Say, O Muhammad, do you verily disbelieve in Him who created the earth in 2 days, and you set up rivals in worship with Him? That is the Lord of the Alameen, mankind, jinn, and all that exists. He placed therein, the earth, firm mountains from above it, and He blessed it, and measured therein its sustenance, for its dwellers, in 4 days equal. All these 4 days were equal in the length of time, for all those who ask about its creation. Then He, Istawa, rose over, towards the heaven when it was smoke, and said to it and to the earth, Come both of you willingly or unwillingly. They both said, We come willingly. Then He completed and finished from their creation as 7 heavens in 2 days, and He made in each heaven with lamps, stars, to be an adornment as well as to guard from the devils by using them as missiles against the devils. Such is the decree of Him, the Almighty, the All-Knower. But if they turn away, then say, O Muhammad, I have warned you of a sa'iqah, a destruction awful cry, torment, hit, a thunderbolt, like the sa'iqah which overtook Ad and Thamud people. Church 41, 113, Quran. When the Prophet had finished his recitation, he said to Utbah, This is my reply to your proposition. Now take what course you find best.